Welcome in to episode 10 of our Let's Play Civilization 7 series here on the Maddish Moose YouTube channel. We are playing Amina, and we're playing as the Axumites. We are in turn 91 here in the Antiquity Age, and that means we're probably, hopefully, crossing the 100 turn barrier in our Let's Play series, which means we're progressing towards the end, or we're going to start to see some of the end of the Antiquity Age approach us, which we need to prepare for, which means everything needs to kind of pick up pace a little bit as we continue here. Our growth needs to get bigger. We need to execute on any plans that we have for the end of the Antiquity Age. We need to start planning for those now and start to execute on them now, because the end of the age will approach sooner than we may think as we head into that north of turn 100 in the Antiquity Age is typically when you start to get the feeling that the end is arriving and we need to start to prepare for that fact. So that is what we will be doing today. If you missed out on any of the action leading up to this moment, down in the description below is a link to episode 1 in the series. You can catch up on everything that has led up right here to turn 91 in the Antiquity Age in our game of Civilization 7. Here we are in our capital city of Axum, 17 strong. We're growing in 8 turns. We are working very hard at growing because we need to get all of our Howilts in order to maximize our time as the Axumites. Our Howilts are very powerful. You can see them on these tiles over here. These are all Howilt tiles. They are benefiting from the gold bonuses that Howilt tiles get. Then they are also benefiting from the culture. Every adjacent Howilt to another Howilt gets you an additional culture. So we're trying to cluster them all together and build the ultimate Howilt kind of circle, if you will. This particular spot here is going to be completely surrounded by Howilts. This one actually will be as well, at least partially. This is rough terrain, so we can't quite get it all the way around this one. This one actually might be close as well, so we're not going to have any full surround Howilts. We're going to be very close in a couple different spots here. So we're going to build Howilts as much as we possibly can, which means we're actually foregoing things like resources and other things that we might otherwise be getting because we, don't have spots for them in our cities, but we also just need to focus on Howilt growth. We're currently debating many things like, should we burn this tile and this tile in order to get a market district spot? That's a lot of yields to give up just to have access to some gold. I'm not sure. I thought I was going to be able to make a decision on this over the course of the last week as I thought about it, and I legitimately still have no idea. I still don't know if I'm gonna put a lighthouse here and then a market here. I'm the yields. The biggest thing that's running through my mind is I'm not gonna get these yields right now. We're not, because we're gonna be, all of these are gonna become Howilts first. So our next, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least at minimum 5, if not 6, 7, 8, like all of our growths this age, let's just say that all of our growths this age are specifically going to go towards Howilt spots. So we're not going to get access to these tiles even in this age. It's just not going to happen. And so the question then becomes, well, do we just burn them because we could put buildings on them now and get access to the yields? Or do we save it because the yields are so good on them? We'll see. We probably have to make a decision on that sooner rather than later. We are 3 turns away from the wheel, which will get us access to our villa, which means we can place our villa here, which actually frees up another potential spot for us to either put a wonder down or some other building. Again, we could throw like a market like out here, no adjacency, just to have like the buildings in for like base resource. Like I don't. We'll play around with it. We're also saving up gold to potentially make Lalibela into a city sometime soon. They are growing to this gold on the next turn. We have a couple other spots we want to grow to, but Lalibela will be pretty decently sized at that point. So we could turn Lalibela into a city relatively soon. We also have Ohatu over here that I think eventually would like to turn into a city. We'll play around with that as we're kind of heading in that direction. One thing I noticed at the very beginning here is Frederick, who is hostile with us and has been hostile with us for quite some time, is in fact actually pushing some units in our direction. There's a Med-J poking out over here. There's another Med-J over here. I don't love that idea. Don't worry, our army is on its way down and we'll actually be able to kind of come in between those. And if he decides to pull anything, we'll have at least that army there. We're also training another army commander. So that's something that I think is very good for us. We'll have another army commander. We'll build up another army. So we have 2 different armies that we can defend or attack with, depending on what we want to do. We're still debating whether we're going to go and fight Himiko. She took this spot we wanted. It turns out that Hokia also sits on a navigable river. Now Chickasaw and Kokia are on navigable rivers, and she settled this Kansas City. And yeah, I mean, she got kind of crowded in here. But man, it'd be nice to have those cities. So we got to think about whether we're going to execute on that war. All that because we're sitting at 56%. That's going to climb up quickly now. It moves fast. It moves slow at first. It moves fast towards the end. And we're gonna have to kind of figure out what we want to do in that regard. So let's press this next turn button and we'll figure out just exactly what's going on in our game and how we're going to progress as we go. Med-Js are in fact making their way in this direction. So they are crossing over. Interesting. All right, so we're gonna do this first. We're gonna keep our general and army moving. Remember, we got a full upgrade on that general. Well, not a full upgrade. But we got an upgrade to what we wanted to have, right? We can carry extra troops now. So we actually could even train 2 new troops just for that alone. We're sitting at 631 gold, which is a nice amount. Remember, Lalibela is 600 to become a city. We're also potentially holding some gold for other purposes right now, just in case a push happens. I'm not seeing enough troops that I'm super concerned about it, but obviously we want to keep an eye on that. There is a storm, a tornado, in fact, that is, it's down here. Where's it going? Direction is northwest, so Shamron in a little bit of trouble, northwest being in this direction. I don't have any units specifically that direction. Looks like Ada does, and Ada has an army that is moving in some direction, which is not like the happiest thing for us. Let's go ahead and get our scout out of here. Where are we gonna send this scout? I mean, I guess down here. Keep our scout around here. Send it down here. We have to get an army down here. There's an enemy scout that is not moving because their place has been destroyed, and they're not moving off of this discovery, so no one can grab it. No one with a scout can grab it. We have to come down here with an army and actually kill this scout, and then we can grab this discovery. Well, let's keep moving down. We'll keep poking around with our scouts. We've got 2 of them again, now that we've had multiple of them die. Lalibela is here and going to grab our gold building, which is our gold resource, which is going to be excellent. A great tile, and gets us that 20% gold towards purchasing buildings. So any buildings we purchase are now going to be reduced by that 20%, which is a big deal for us, actually, as we kind of jump in that direction. We have access to camels, which I think actually is important, because our cities are kind of full at this point. So we need to push for these camels as quickly as we can. We have access to get them with the next growth. That's 13 turns away. So the question becomes, do we want to wait those 13 turns with this 50% increased growth in order to get to those camels as fast as we can? Because you're talking about 50% increased growth while we're a city, while we're a town instead of a city, right? We also have the growth increase from our altar. Now we could do something like buy in our granary and buy in like a saw pit or something like that. So we could potentially push our growth a little bit higher. And in fact, maybe that's what we should do with some of our gold, since we have a little bit extra right now. I think we should take a look at the fact that this granary gets us +3 food, which would help Lalibela grow a little faster. So then we need to look at Lalibela and figure out, well, where would we like to put our granary? If we're planning it as a city, which direction should the granary go in? So if we're planning Lalibela as a city, and we're thinking that it's going to become a city, which I do think is probably the case, or at least an urban center, we would want to get out to this tile for a 1, 2, 3, a triple adjacency culture spot, right? So we have to be able to build out to it. Now this tile right here is a grassland tile, and there's a wonder in the next age that we will probably want to put here. I believe it's Serpent's Mound, and Serpent's Mound benefits the rural, I believe it benefits specifically special, unique rural improvements. So Howelts, caravanseries, those types of things. And we're gonna get a lot of possible Howelts down here, as well as potential caravanseries. So the idea of getting that wonder, it has to be built on grassland, and I think this is actually the only city we have that's gonna have access to grassland. Ohatu is all tropical, like all of this is tropical, so it's not gonna have any access to grassland. There's grassland. No, these are plains here, and there is grassland up here in Kalo, right? Grassland comes up after the desert, and then to the north, in between the tundra and the desert is where it shows up. Axum, unfortunately, does not have access to a single grassland style. Otherwise, Axum would have been a great place to put that, but they just don't. Kalo could, but Kalo does not have a lot of flat tiles necessarily. There's not a lot of great spots for Howelts and for caravanseries, and in fact, they can build almost no caravanseries. If we go with the Songhai in the next age, the caravansery specifically has to be built on desert or plains tiles and not grassland. So they only have like I think this spot will be Kalo's like only caravansery in the next age. And so again, we're just not gonna get the Serpent's Mound benefit there. But there's this one tile, this one funny little grasslands tile that got slotted in right here. It's like kind of separate from everything. I like that. It's a little different. It gives a little bit of variability. I like that a lot. That's going to be our Serpent's Mound if we can get it. So we want to kind of skirt around that to get to this. So that means I probably want to put my granary here and then something else over here so we can get to this spot with our other buildings. Now, we also want Axum to have as much desert as possible because of Petra. So we also want to make sure this farm in 7 turns, this farm needs to go in so that Axum can grab these 2 tiles right here before we take any of those tiles with Lollibella. The good news is that's Axum's border there. And so we can put the granary right here. We can buy that in and grab these 2 tiles with Lollibella because that's fine. We want these 2 tiles with Lollibella. We just don't want to take them from Axum. It is important to plan this out because you cannot change your city borders or exchange tiles between cities. In Civilization 6, that is something you could do. That is not something that you can do in Civilization 7 currently. I, at some point, hope that Firaxis decides to come out with a change that suggests that you can flip-flop tiles between city borders, because it really does become a pain when you accidentally culture bomb in, like, because if you buy in a granary, right, you get the tiles around it, or if you build something and you get the tiles around it. And so the problem is if you're not paying attention to your city border lines, which is kind of difficult to do unless you're playing modded, then you could end up having tiles that don't belong to the city you need them to belong to, and you can't flip-flop them right now. So it is important to plan those out when you're thinking about city borders and which tiles you want to go with which city, which is actually important for us, right? I think I'm gonna get Lollibella to grow a little faster, so I'm gonna go up here. I'm gonna throw down a granary. I realize we're burning some possible, like, really nice Howelt spots by doing this. What's gonna happen, right, is we're gonna probably granary, saw pit, or something like that here. And we'll probably put a brickyard or something here, and then we'll have access to the culture building there. So then the idea would be there's a double resource here, so we could put our production buildings right here. And then like science buildings could probably end up down here. Again, we got double, there's double here. So we could drop down here for our science buildings potentially, and then our happiness buildings could possibly go like double mountain adjacency over here or something like that. We could play around with it a little bit. There's not going to be any... The problem is we're going to put Serpent's Mound in. And so if we're going to do Serpent's Mound in the city, we do want as many Howelts as we can get, and we're kind of going to be burning them with different districts and things like that. So we'll just be aware of kind of where we can go and how we can do it. I think we'll still be able to maximize it pretty well. As we kind of make our maneuver. We still have to have districts, obviously, because it's going to be a city, because we have to be a city to build a wonder, right? I mean, that's kind of a critical component. So we want to be able to make sure that that happens. I do think I'm going to wait for another growth, though, to turn it into a city. So we'll probably kind of be messing around with it a little bit as far as like spending down some of our gold, building in some of our things to optimize it a little bit, because I think that that's going to be, relatively speaking, important. All right, let's go ahead and press that next turn button. We have 3 turns left on our commander. That will be 2 here in a second. Medjay's kind of, I don't know what it's doing. It's kind of feeling stuff out over here. Go ahead and use our search ability here. Give us some lay of the land. Not too much going on down here. If he decides to declare war here, that would be kind of nice for us. But you could see we've got here again is an archer. Here is now another Medjay coming through. So he's actually sneaking some troops now through this area. So I'm willing to bet that Frederick is finally, I think, preparing for war. He's been on the edge of war with me for quite some time, and it feels like with this troop movement that we're seeing here, it feels like there might be a war declaration coming. So we'll get our army back into kind of a defensive position. We'll get a second army kind of up and running. I'm going to save this gold in case we need to quick buy a couple units if that war happens, maybe in the like faster than I think it was going to potentially. We'll make sure we do that. We also have a surplus of influence like crazy. And we currently, let's see, who are we running? I think we're running everything through Napoleon, right? Yeah, we've got our military aid and our open markets both running with Napoleon. Those are lasting 7 more turns. So we don't need any influence to spend on our endeavors for another 7 turns. So we could start thinking about how we're going to spend this accumulated influence, which we could use, right, to grab units. Moreau has military units we could snag from them. Tyre has military units we could snag from them with our influence, which could potentially actually be very useful. I'm going to keep the gold for now. It's tempting to grab something with it. I mean, again, Ohatu potentially could start building a few things as well. We could start planning this out as a possible city. It doesn't have anything that's like super important, right? +3 production would be +3 gold. A +2 for the food is just not particularly worth it. So I don't think I'm going to mess around with that quite yet. So I think like we'll keep the gold for a little bit. We might also want to purchase. In fact, we should probably look at that. Let's check our trade, because we could be trading with Chichen Itza, and Chichen Itza has some nice resources. So that actually might be the best place to spend our gold right now. Taruga also has access to things. We're actually going to get access to that shortly because we have a Dow that's going that direction, right? However, Chichen Itza's got some nice stuff, and I might want to just go trade with that. We're already trading with Zaschilin. No, we're not. They only have the kaolin, which could be useful for us actually. But right now we should just trade with Chichen Itza, I think. So, but let's do that. I think we spend the gold. How much is a merchant? 340. It's pretty expensive. I think that we have enough gold though to purchase a few units otherwise too, right? Spearmen are 165, archers are 140, so we'll have leftovers to be able to buy military if we need to. Let's grab a merchant. We're grabbing in Matara here, which is right next to him, so it'd be very fast to establish this trade route. We'll grab that, and that'll spend down some of our golds that we're not sitting on like copious amounts of it. We can still buy like 1 or 2 units on the next turn, which if we need to, right? So, all right, we're keeping an eye on troop movements. I think we have a war declaration coming, relatively speaking, soon. We have a troop down here now in the fog. We have an archer in this fog over here, and we have Medjays coming across the river here and here, approaching us. So, if anything, he's probing. He's at minimum probing, right? All right, the White Nile has flooded. That was the river down here. So far, that's fine. Our Dow is actually, in fact, we might just do that right now. This storm petered out. Our Dow should be able to reach this tile on this turn if there's movement left. Oh, look at that Dow. That's cool. What a cool boat. We can do this. We can make a trade route with our Dow. This is such a cool feature of this boat. It's a military boat that has the capacity to make 1 trade route over its existence, which I think is just really cool. It's such a good feature. We could do another and trade with Kanza still, right? So we could build another Dow and trade with Kanza. We also, I believe, we'll get to keep our boats because we're on patch. We should be, when we move up, we should be on patch 1.2.3, which means I think we'll be able to keep our boats, which would be advantageous since we're going to have a couple of them anyway. So let's go ahead and make a trade route with Taruga. That feels good. And the boat stays, right? The boat is still here. Now, that boat cannot make any more trade routes. I like that it's limited. Otherwise, it would be too good probably, right? But it feels good. Feels good to be able to make a trade route with that. And now we've got access to all of Taruga's stuff, which is beautiful. We have a growth in Ohatu. We're going to get access to these llamas. So now we have more llamas. Remember, Ohatu is connected via a naval route now, right? We put 2 fishing keys in, so despite the fact that we don't have any roads yet, we do have the fishing keys in that are getting us connected to our empire, so those resources are maneuverable now. Okay, we're back into our tech tree. We have a mastery down here that would get us production, which is not the worst thing in the world. We also have the ability to grab production on military buildings here or codexes here. Where are we sitting at for codexes? Let's take a quick look. We do have a couple codex spots left, so that is an option to go and grab a codex because that would get us some extra science, which we are behind in. Or we could push for engineering, which I think has got to be our play here. Engineering gets us, we talked about this in the last episode, 2 pretty powerful buildings. It's a 14-turn research, but these other ones are all 4 turns. I think that engineering is probably going to be worth it. So I'm going to go ahead and grab engineering next so we can get our blacksmiths in, which is going to increase our production by a bunch. Also get our amphitheaters in. We don't need those as much probably, but I think that's probably a really solid play for us. That brings us to our production queues. Colo has just finished the market, a beautiful market spot. I mean, this is picture perfect market, right? It's absolutely gorgeous. Looks stunning out there on the peninsula right there. So we like that. If we want to build, and we have access to it, I believe. Wait, where soon? Where is it? 6 turns. In 6 turns, we'll have access to the Weigang Palace, which is a very powerful wonder that gets you influence, which is kind of hard to come by, to be honest. I'm hoping that we're able to build that here because it requires grassland as well. I want to have something built here so that we can put Weilang Palace here, so that we can put our culture buildings here and get at least a couple of adjacencies. We talked about that in the last episode, I think. So that's, I think, what I'd like to do, which means we kind of need to build our next piece out here, which is probably a saw pit because there's no adjacency here. So I think we want to put our saw pit here. Then we put the palace here, and then we put our culture buildings here, but we need to be able to reach that first. So I think our next build here is arguably going to be our saw pit, which we could technically just buy in, but it's a quick build, so let's just build it. That's going to burn an urban and allow us to put down these fish actually right here, I think is what I'm going to go with. We have a growth in 2, and that will then lead me to probably putting some mines down up here for some additional production. But this tile is obviously worth a ton. So let's grab access to some fish now as well. We've now pushed our silk roads up. I believe that's probably our final silk road. 62% now on our age progress up there. And we've got some jade and some fish that are unassigned. And let's see, we have dates here that we could sub out. You know what I'm going to do? We have dyes sitting in Colo. I'm going to take the dyes out. I'm going to put the dyes into Matara Town because they can hold that resource. We're going to stick the jade in Colo. Yeah, the jade in Colo. So we're not getting the benefit of getting it on our biggest one, but I want to keep stuff here. And then actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the dates out and put the fish in to bump their food by an extra piece there. And then these dates should probably go in for these llamas to get the extra food in Ohatu. I like the idea of getting more food here rather than the production and happiness. So I'm going to pull the llamas. I'm going to put the dates in for that +2 food, +2 happiness in Ohatu. I think that's the play. We're already maxing our food at +4 food in Lalibela because we're trying to grow it as fast as possible. So these llamas will sit until we get access to another place to put stuff, which we will soonish. Okay, that feels okay. I don't love not having a resource assigned, but such is life sometimes. I'm just gonna keep moving this guy down here. And this guy I think we'll try to cut this way. So this guy can come down here and explore a little bit. So we'll try to move this guy over here. And I actually want to cut over down here if I can. Yeah, there we go. We got a crossing point finally. Perfect. Okay. Our trader is going to Chichen Itza, so we'll tell him to go there. That'll be a quick access to some more resources that we can't slot, so we need to be working on that. And we actually cut in front of these medjays now and get back to our territory. So let's just head our army in that direction. Probably station our army somewhere in here, somewhere in between Axum and Lalibela, just in case something funky happens where they attack Matara or Lalibela instead of Axum, which is entirely possible based on kind of movements that we've seen. We've got troops over here even, so we'll pay attention to that a little bit. And then one turn left on this commander, and then we'll probably just buy an archer or something like that in order to have that commander go down and do a couple things over the course of the rest of this turn. There we go. Troop movements now. Oh yeah, we got movement in this direction. We've got there's a medjay down here as well. So we have troops everywhere, all over the place from Frederick now. So it feels imminent at some point when they start moving towards our borders. We'll get an idea about when that might happen. The Hamunga Amaui has been built by Ada Lovelace. That's probably going to benefit one of her cities a ton. I bet you it was built right here. Oh, there. In fact, there it is right there. There is the Hamunga Amaui and all the culture. Look at the culture. It's such a nice wonder if you're sitting on coast. Beautiful. Lovely. And the Temple of Jupiter Basilica together. Ada Lovelace correctly making a forum. Beautiful. Good for her. What a lovely city down there. It's gonna be potent. All right, Axum is ready to build, and conveniently we have access to our villa, so we can get our villa down. It's a lot of benefit there. We're not gonna get the science or culture, but we're gonna go ahead and put that right here. Get that double adjacency from the mountains, and then we have to debate if we're gonna build a wonder right here to get some additional adjacency, or if we put our market in or a granary. I'm debating actually putting a granary in right here, and I know this is not a great spot for a granary. It's got single adjacency here, double adjacency with the wonder, so there actually is adjacency here that we could take advantage of. So it's not great for a granary, but I'm debating putting a granary where this garden is just to fill it in. And then we could use that as a tile for an extra building if we need it, right? But man, it's tough. I honestly think this is such a nice tile for a wonder because it's sitting there as plains. It's got nothing to do but put a wonder on it, and it would gain adjacency for something, right? There's no other place to build a wonder left in Axum that doesn't burn something really amazing. This tile is the last kind of not useful tile in Axum. So the question is, do we want to put a wonder on that tile, or do we want to put in a granary and a market or something? I don't know. We'll have to make a decision on it sooner rather than later, obviously, right? So let's just well, you know what? We can step one and then do our search. Okay, that's coast. That makes sense. Okay, so let's yeah, we'll cut around though. I'm still interested in what's down there. All right, this army is ready to kind of get right where I said they'd probably want to go. We'll send them into our land for now. Let's get them back home, and then we'll do that. There's a nice cliff right here that kind of funnels everybody into a spot. So if they choose to attack from up here, it's going to be detrimental to them, which might be why they're moving units in a lot of different directions that are not that direction. Okay, here's this army commander who is ready to rock and roll, but I think let's go ahead and buy. And I think I do want to do an archer. What's our current unit count? One of each, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. So yeah, let's go ahead and purchase an archer here in Axum. Oh, perfect. I purchased it and it went right into the army command. So the army commander is now packed, which I believe actually increases his movement speed. Yeah, it does. And I would like for that guy to come down here, and we're gonna fight this guy. So let's just move him in that direction. We're gonna start. We could put more units in there, but we're fighting a scout and a scout, right? That's the Did he move? Oh no, I can't see him anymore. I thought he moved. But I can't. It's fog. I can't see him. Oh, terrifying. All right, this Dow is going to explore the ocean. We're just gonna poke out as much as we can around the ocean and kind of go around the coast as much as we can. If we need to ask for open borders, we certainly can. We have the influence to do that. So we'll think about that as we go as well. Again, I'm holding on to a little bit of gold here, number one, because we do want to have enough for a city, and because I also need to potentially be able to purchase a couple military units as we watch the units of Frederick close in on us. What's he doing? He's got an army commander now moving in this direction as well. Oh, I don't know. It's getting interesting. All right, Colo has grown, and I do think, despite the fact that there's like a nice reef over here, which is a really nice spot to put stuff, I do think I'm going to grab these mines for some extra production here. So let's go ahead and just throw mines down. That's 3 production in the city, which is a pretty substantial amount. But especially since we want to prepare in, what is it? 4 turns, I think. In 4 turns, we'll have access to Wei Yang Palace, and in 4 turns, we'll want to probably start building it. So we want to get as much production in the city as we can while we can, right? Okay, what is our next best build here? Fishing Key Bath is not a bad play. Could certainly do Fishing Key Bath on this tile right here. That gets us, there is some adjacency that we get based off, potentially off of that. Sorry, not adjacency, but we would at least, if we choose to make this our capital in the next age, we would have quarters that would be filled around it, which would be beneficial. So I like the idea of putting it right here rather than, well, actually we can't put it anywhere else, right? Because we would have to pop it out to this spot. So we actually exactly want it here. So let's go Fishing Key because it's faster into that +3 food, and then we'll probably go Bath. Well, actually, we need, what is it? What do we say? 4 turns? It's 4 turns until citizenship. So it would be 5 turns to get the Bath in, and that would push our food by like quite a bit more. So let's go Bath, actually. Go Bath. And that will scoot, actually, and I'm even gonna scoot this to this other mine. There we go. So we took our fishing boats out. We made them into another mine, which is perfect. We lose a little bit of food on that, but that's okay. We're not looking to grow necessarily like a ton more in Colo. Yeah, we want growth, and we'll try to put some Howlets down, but the production is going to be super useful for us as we try to push for a wonder. And you'll notice now, actually, because we took that, our Bath was down to 4 turns, which coincides exactly with citizenship, and citizenship is what unlocks Wei Yang Palace for us. So that's going to be a perfect move right there. Keep pushing our units here. Oh! There's an Urtsu Spearman. Will we lose yet another scout? I sure hope not. All right, let's push south, maybe. That was a marsh, so it used up all of our movement. This army, I am going to... So, I think he has a unit up here still, right? I'm going to put this army right here. And we're just going to have them fortify in place, I guess. Actually, I'm just going to put them on alert. They're never going to get attacked from this spot, so let's just put them on alert. They will just wait and see which direction they need to move to defend. Right, we've already poked out there. Let's send this guy over here. We have a ton of influence, but again, we don't really have to spend that on anything. You know what we could do? We could come over here. Let's check a few numbers really quick. If we look at science numbers, both Napoleon and Frederick have pretty high science, which we do not. We have pretty bad science. So if we go over here to Frederick, we can actually scroll down, and for 80 influence, which we have a bunch of extra influence right now, for 80 influence, we can steal technological advancements. Frederick has some decent science, so we might be able to like steal a tech. So I'm actually gonna, he already hates us. So let's go ahead and execute steal technological advancements. We'll go ahead and see if we can steal a tech. Use some of that influence that we've gained to do that. Let's go next turn. This guy's moving out to his spot. Medjays are... This war is still being waged, by the way. Napoleon is still fighting Himiko and sending units up here to get destroyed by burning arrows over and over again. It's been brutal. Every unit that Napoleon has sent from way down here all the way up here to fight Himiko has been just massacred by burning arrows. My scout was attacked. That is, look, it's not, I guess that's not a surprise at this point, you know? We can't go where we want to go. Perfect. Perfect. Ugh. I guess we just back up and... I mean, our best bet is actually to ask for open borders from Ada, right? Let's see if she'll give us open borders. No. Okay. She will not, which means we will indeed just back on up. Yikes. That's unfortunate. Ada doesn't want to be friends. All right, let's step here and we'll run our search. Okay, so that's coast. Oh, but there's land down here. So there's just a little inlet here, maybe? What a lovely little spot this is. Jade, limestone. Obviously, I'm not going to come settle here, but someone should. So since I can't get this guy down here, maybe this guy could just go this way and I'll bring this guy around. I don't know. It's getting difficult to move these settlers around. Let's poke over here, just see what we can see. Nothing there that we can see instantaneously. Let's take a look at... There's a medjay all the way down here. We can actually come down here and deploy and shoot, I think, on the next turn. Let's just move him this way. There it is!
Ich war zu lange im Theater und dürste nach dem Klang der Kanonen.
Frederick? Frederick, it's the Antiquity Age. We don't have cannons, bud. If you've got cannons, we're in serious trouble. All right. Frederick wants war. And war he shall have. The first thing that we're going to do when we have war declared on us is we're going to click on said war. We can get to the war through this. The first thing we will notice when we click on the war, or when we see the war, is Frederick versus me, and there is a number here. This number currently says 0. This is effectively your war support number. And if you look at it, you can see we sit right in the middle right now, so there are no pluses or minuses. If you start to go down the path of plussing and minusing, so if you get all the way up, you start accumulating war weariness, I believe, or something to that effect. But the plus or minus actually indicates a number that is meaningful to you because it actually provides you with attack bonuses for your units. Your units get, like if we were at +1, our units would have +1 attack strength against his units. If we were at -1, then our units would have -1 attack strength, or maybe it's just that his units have the +1, right? So it doesn't double up, I don't think, on you. So war support is very important. How do you get war support for yourself? Well, the Gate of All Nations will get you that, which now that we are heading in this direction of war, perhaps building the Gate of All Nations might be something we might be interested in since it's somehow still available. We can also spend influence, which is kind of nice because we have a whole bunch of influence right now. So we can add war support. Better war support causes war awareness for the other side and reduces happiness and combat strength. So we can actually get an advantage against him by spending 60 influence to support ourselves. So we'll do that. And then you can see we have +1. And then you can see this line right here, this line that has appeared here, I believe that's the war weariness line. So I don't think that any war weariness penalties happen until you get to that point, I believe, but I'm not sure specifically how that works. But so you can see the cost goes up. I can support myself again, but it will cost 90. And we might want to think about doing that because the more pluses we get here, the better. And the likelihood is that he will probably end up supporting this himself as well and bring it back to 0, right? So he can then support it on his side. And then it will balance itself out, right? Additionally, other nations can come in without being involved in the war and spend their influence to support one side or the other. I love this mechanic because it allows you to get involved in wars without actually getting involved in wars. If you want someone to do better in a war, you can come in with your own influence and support that person in war and get them potential plus combat strength and possibly influence the war weariness of the opposing civilization. I love that mechanic. It's a very nice mechanic for someone who likes to play passively and wants to maybe influence world battles and world war type of things in a direction that you might want to influence it with using your influence. I think it's a cool thing. So that's something to pay attention to, is how does this look for you as far as war support? We are, I believe we have access to Gate of All Nations already, I think. And we also just finished our villa. Okay, Monk's Mount has been built by Himiko. The war has been declared on me. And we probably need to come in here to Axum. And we now have access to this. And I think now it does... Gate of All Nations we could build in 6 turns, which gets us +2 support to all wars, which would be a pretty big deal. And so it's a safety net that exists so that when you have wars declared on you, even if you're not planning on going to war, if you're planning on going to war, Gate of All Nations, one of the most powerful wonders in the game if you're going to go to war. Gate of All Nations, even if you're just planning on being a passive player but want to be able to defend yourself well, massively, you want it, right? Because anyone who has it will have +2 support on you if you don't have it, right? So Gate of All Nations is pretty powerful. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to put Gate of All Nations down on this tile. I realize that's burning another tile. I know that we've been talking about that. I'm gonna put it down anyway. So we're gonna go Gate of All Nations right here. That will get us extra adjacency on the villa as well. And when we put a Howell down, it will also get extra adjacency from the Wonder when we put our Howell here, if we get to that point. Obviously, we have other Howells that we want to get down first, but that play is going to be interesting for us. I hope that that's going to pay off in 5 turns, actually. 5 turns, we will have +2 to our war support, and that will feel pretty nice. Okay, we have Tyre's units that are going to start fighting for us down here, so I'm almost... Well, this guy should unpack and just start shooting, though, right? We like him having to cross on the river, so we'll just stay right here next to Tyre's units. I'm just going to unpack on this tile. We're just going to go ahead and select our archer. We're going to deploy right here. And we're going to take our archer. And we are going to... Oops, we're going to take the archer. And... Oh, they're vegetated tiles. Well, son of a gun. We can't shoot over vegetated tiles. And so we can't shoot him. Everything's vegetated in this area, so I can't shoot at all. So we actually want to eventually move these units now into a position where they can shoot, which is unfortunate. We should have actually taken the commander, packed, moved over here, and then probably deployed into one of our territories here, but that's okay. So the question is anyone going to come from over here? I don't think so. I think he's pushed most... Well, he's got units that are going to come from over here, but they have to fight through Moreau. These units are going to die. Moreau is going to slaughter any units that try to come through this pass right here. Moreau's got tons of military, and they're just going to shoot anybody who comes through. So unless Moreau runs out of units. So I think most of his troops that are actually in threatening position are down here. So we're going to go ahead and grab our military commander here and scoot him into a position that would be advantageous, maybe even right up to Lalibela. Move him in this direction. And we're going to start deploying units. We're going to take a spearman. We're going to deploy... Oh, I want to take a spearman. We're going to deploy that spearman onto Lalibela probably. Let's grab another spearman and put that spearman down here maybe. We'll grab our archers and make sure that they are in backline type of positions potentially. We probably should have put this spearman actually outside. We still do that. I might move this spearman here. There's no fortifications on this, right, necessarily. So we should probably keep the spearman there. We can deploy on this tile and be able to shoot. Nope, those are both vegetated. So that guy's again protected because of the vegetated tiles. And we'll deploy this guy here. He'll probably get attacked, but we can at least shoot with him. So we need to work on some positioning here that allows us to shoot units as they come in with our units. This guy, I think, is just going to take shots again. So I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to fortify this spot. I'm going to fortify on the city as well, I think. But the spirit, oh, he's out of movement. So we're not going to do that. Okay. Which is fine. So we'll have this guy. This guy can stand. Our army commander can stay right here because he's going to be in the center of everything for now. And then these guys are going to have to move at some point to try to defend a little better. Okay. That feels good for that deployment. We probably could have done that better, obviously, but... Okay, what question is, what direction are we moving here? We already got this tile, right? This tile is potentially a contested tile. Oh, no, sorry. It's not a contested tile. 1, 2, 3. He can't go any further than that. That one's ours for sure, right? Yeah, this one is ours. Okay, so we can actually just go up here and go after either resources Or we could go after our Grand Canyon tiles. We don't have any flat tiles yet. I honestly think we should probably go after... I think we should go after the incense first. Get that extra science, potentially. So let's put a farm down here. That's a nice farm. These aren't the best moves, but they're okay. Yes, Matara. Oh, Lollibella is defenseless. I think that's not true anymore. Our treasury is overflowing, and we probably should just buy some more units. Which we probably could have just done in Lollibella, but now we can't because we've stacked it too much. Do we want to buy some more units? We really do, to be honest. And we have a ton of gold to be able to do so. And we have an extra archer. I think maybe let's grab a spearman. All right, this scout retreated. This Jaguar Slayer is now damaged. That Jaguar Slayer is getting attacked by that guy. I want to come down here eventually, but I don't know how we're going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to send this guy this way. Let's poke around a little bit. This archer can't do anything unless I put him in harm's way, so let's just have him build fortifications as well. This guy can skip. This guy can skip as well. And our Dow can continue on his journey. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder where that goes. All right, let's take a look at our war. We are at war for the first time. This will be intriguing. Oh, we have a unit that needs to... Oh, we got our trade routes ready to go. Well, that's nice. Let's go ahead and grab those resources. That gives us something else to do on this turn. That gives us a ton of bonus resources that we can't assign anywhere. So the question is, are we using the best ones? These dies are +4 happiness. So let's pull the dies out and we will put the wild game in instead in Matara to get their growth up a little bit faster. We also have 2 production, 2 happiness that we could add into one of our spots. And I think that's better than the llamas, to be honest. I would take the production over the happiness. So let's go ahead and throw in more wool. The llamas are kind of getting left behind now. So as you can see, I'm deprioritizing happiness, which sometimes you might not want to do that, but we are currently. We have some production that's sitting there as a result of that, but I think this is the best way to prioritize things for ourselves right now is to go with this. These are all getting us +1 gold, +1 happiness anyway, so it's not the worst, but we definitely want to be able to place those at some point. So hopefully we can get access to those camels and increase our ability to place some of those here in the near future. We spent a little bit of gold. We didn't spend a ton. We could grab another unit. Let's play it out and see what happens. Those guys retreated. They are fighting Moreau. They are fighting Moreau actively, and Moreau is coming in and wiping out units. Another leader has opposed my war. That was probably Frederick. We could actually go in here and check. Yeah, we can see I have a token from me for +1, a token from Frederick. So Frederick has also supported his side of the war, so we're back down to even strength across the board, which is okay. Let's see. I'd like to run. Well, if I pack, let's pack. Let's do this first. Pack. And then I'd love to. I can't quite get in range of shooting anything. No, that burned all of our movement because we don't have the extra movement promotion yet, which is a real bummer because we actually can't get over far enough to start getting experience for this guy as part of this fight, which kind of sucks. But this guy's just gonna attack into this anyway, right? Because we could move this archer into position to be able to shoot. I wonder if we should chase his units. Because where's he gonna go? I'm gonna have this commander pull in over here. I'm gonna have this spearman pack. I'm gonna have this guy pack, and I'm gonna try to move them up a little more. He's out of. I can't unpack them now, unfortunately. But I'm gonna try to pursue. I'm gonna try to pursue his units. Is essentially what I'm gonna do. This guy can just hold his ground. He was making fortifications. We'll try to do that again. this archer can move over here, which actually will allow him to shoot, which will get our guy some experience over there. Won't get this guy though, which is unfortunate. That's okay. So far so good on the defense. Sometimes those free peoples, sorry, the city-states you have on your borders, oh, they do so much work in this particular instance, right? Ah, Axum has grown. That is very exciting because that means we can grab access to our final 2 tiles with this farm. That is beautiful. And what we'll come in here and do, we'll purchase a Howlt. There. And now we're starting to see the fruits of our Howlt labors. We are close to being able to put in our big Howlt right here, which is going to get a ton of culture when we get that, right? We're trying to get the river ones down first because the river ones are so valuable, but Tara is defenseless, and there are units potentially going that way, so we are aware of that. Competing wonder, our rivals, the Mississippian Empire, which is who? Himiko has started working on the Gate of All Nations. Okay, we have 4 turns. Himiko, where are you building the Gate of All Nations? Where are you producing this? Okay, they have Gate of All Nations placed right here. They started building it almost the same turn we did. I think we have more production than Himiko. I think we're going to be fine. Now, we'll keep an eye on it. You can actually see based off of where the production is. This is how far she is. There's like 4 different levels of production. We're at essentially the same as she right now because we just started, right? I think we're going to get that first, but we're now competing for a wonder. And we know we're competing for a wonder because we can see it, right? If we can't see it, then then no one will tell us that. But we've got a little bit of extra information because of that. All right, this guy's just going to keep going around, I guess. This guy is headed in this direction. I want to be cautious, but I wonder if we could use the water to go around. Oh, wow, what's this? Interesting. All right, this spearman can reinforce this fight, and I think I'm just going to walk him over. Where do I want to walk him to? I'm going to walk him towards this commander, to be honest. So let's just keep him on the road. We'll get him to like right here and see where that takes us. We do have more gold we could spend. Here's our Dow. Ooh, lots of coastal water here to explore, which feels really nice. Okay, and then we will go to turn 100. His units are all pulling to fight Moreau. We actually may need to go help Moreau.
After the assembly gathered, the elders gave their answer.
We may need to go help Moreau a little bit. They have a sling. What is their slinger doing? Moreau, bring your slinger back to defend your land. All right, our open markets and our military action have ended, which is a real pain because we actually could use the we could use the influence for war support. We just moved off that river. All right, let's pick a civic. I think our best play is to just go after organized military. It's a 10 turn, but it's a 10 turn that gets us access to a settlement limit. I think that's what I want. Not going to overthink that one. I'm just going to go for it. Okay, and then we are prepared to build in Kalo. And in Kalo, we can 10 turn Weiyang Palace, which feels very good. So let's go ahead and put that down. We know we want it right here. So we'll go ahead and build that 10 turns on Weiyang Palace. That feels pretty nice. It's going to get us access to the spot we want for our culture buildings, get us that influence. I like that play. This guy will continue just working his way around. And I guess, I don't know what's over here, but we'll pop over here, maybe use our search ability on the next turn. Oh man. We're gonna get some serious visibility of what's happening in the ocean over here. Just a ton of ocean. No islands that we can see. Very interesting. Okay, all units of Fredericks are gone from here. So let's grab this guy. I want to push this guy as hard as I can towards somewhere where he can fight. Because, yeah, we could go after the scout, but we can do that later. I'd like to get this guy in position to get some experience, though. Unfortunately, he's stuck in a place where he cannot move at all, which is kind of sad. But I guess we're just going to here right now. It's as best as we could do. Jump back on the road and kind of start cutting across. We'll leave a couple units back here for defensive purposes. Or actually, we don't even need to anymore, right? Tyre's got our defense covered on that side of things. Let's get this archer packed back up. And in fact, we can even pack this guy up. Maybe we'll leave this guy as a defensive unit. And then this guy is going to come over here. And yeah, and we're just going to come to this spot. We're probably going to deploy our archers. Oh, we didn't even need both of them. Perfect. That means these archers could just start moving up here. And we'll get ready to start fighting some of the units in this direction. We could deploy our spearmen onto that tile, but it actually puts them at a disadvantage. Well, if they get attacked, we get more experience, though. Just have them fortify up. And everything else is moving appropriately. Let's do one more turn 101. Oh, what's going on? Birsa has been built. Okay, I thought when I see the wonder pop up, I'm always worried. Lofi River flooded. That river flooded a second time. That was an unmet player, I believe, that built that. So let's try to cut this way, I guess. I don't know where we're going with this guy anymore. All right, let's step here. Okay, that's coast. This archer can... I guess the best spot to position our armies now is somewhere up here to just take shots at any units that come up. So let's just, in fact, we'll just pack. And then we're going to move this guy up. Moreau's units are pretty decimated, so we're going to want to come and defend Moreau. If we can position ourselves over here where we can just kind of clog up all of the access points, then I think we should be fine. We want to get our other... Can we get our other commander over here? Ah, he can't get in range. Let's keep him on road. We'll keep pushing him towards this area. We'll have this guy move up. We'll have our army commander move here. We'll unpack our archer. All right, let's push this archer in this direction then. I was going to be able to shoot this guy, which now he's probably just going to die to something else. Let's go up here. That's as much as we can explore. That direction, we'll pop onto that tile as well. And I think we could probably get one more turn in actually here, which would be nice. Bang Palace has 9 turns left on it. I feel like that's pretty... We could probably buff our production there a little bit. Let's see how progress is going here. No progress for Himiko, and our Gate of Nations is well underway, so we're going to beat Himiko to that, which feels pretty good. Okay, he's moving out. And there is an army. Our spearmen can only move 1, and then he'll clog up a spot that we want to put an archer on, technically. So let's actually pack. Then we'll move our commander over here. Where can this commander get to? We can get this commander into the back, which he might pick up some experience if we put him right here. Let's get this commander moved in. This guy can shoot this army right now. This army commander can deploy the spearmen then over here. Oh, I can't? Oh, it's a cliff. I can't get down there. Oh, okay. Well, we could deploy the spearmen here then. This archer... We're trying to do stuff, but we're doing poorly. We don't want to shoot with this guy because no one's going to get experience from that. Can this commander move this way now? Okay, so we can at least shoot these guys and get a little bit of experience. Our other commander still didn't get anything. It's fine. We're working towards it. We're working towards it. Big flood in the land of Wasset of Frederick. We've got some more growth. Let's see, where are we headed? I think we got all the resources we need, right? We can't reach any other resources, so we should probably just be taking flat tiles. Anything that is flat, so we could put Howlets down. So let's just start grabbing. Let's just start grabbing flats. Probably like these tropical flats are pretty nice. We know we're gonna put a couple buildings here on this mountain, so we want to go out in this direction probably. Oh, actually, this reef is really nice too, though. But we want Howlets. Let's start reaching for, like, that's probably, we could turn that into a Howlet probably, right? Like, that's what we want to start reaching for. Let's send this guy over here. This guy's gonna go in this direction. We want to move slowly. That's what I was afraid of. There are hostile boats in this region. Kind Gotta find out where all those boats are coming from. There. Scoot over here. We have... Oh, here's our extra spearman. Our extra spearman is here to defend our lands. Let's cut him over here to as a defensive unit. I think we've got a defensive line set up now with our 2 commanders and a bunch of archers and stuff. We'll be pretty good. Once this guy's healed up, we'll probably actually move him as well onto our front line. And whenever Frederick decides he's had enough sending units at us, we could go into... I don't want Frederick's city. We could go into Frederick's land and pillage everything if he chooses to continue war after he's run out of units and sending his units against us. Okay. I think we're going to call it there. I really want to play more turns. We have some decisions to make at the beginning of the next episode. We have influence to spend, which we can spend on either our endeavors or on war support. I don't know if we need the war support. We have a ton of gold, in the treasury. So we want to think about what we're going to do with that gold as well. We might buy in some buildings. We are 1 turn away from the Gate of All Nations. We're 8 turns away from Wei Ying Palace. So we got a bunch of stuff going on in this game. That will do it for this episode, but I am very excited to continue this game. If you like the content, hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you know when we release these videos, and I will see you next week.